Alright, welcome back. Larry is still testifying to the best of his ability, which is not much. But hey, what's up with this? Are you sure? Of course I am. She had this real sexy voice. Maybe Von Krum was right. I'm not sure how that helped us at all. This is the most ludicrous testimony I've ever heard. There is one gleaming ray of hope in there. I've got to press it until we get to the bottom of what happened. Almost Christmas. That's a bit odd. Because, 1250... Larry, are you absolutely sure what you're saying is correct? Huh? What's with the face? You look scary, dude. Hey, if you're trying to scare me, you better know I don't scare that easily. Is something the matter, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, did you hear what the witness just said? The DJ said, hey, it's almost Christmas, when he heard the gunshot. Indeed, and almost Christmas means it wasn't Christmas. Do you realize what this means? When he heard the gunshot, it was still Christmas Eve. Now, this isn't too surprising of a detail because of the other picture we have, but that would seem to be the case, yes. But he should have heard the gunshot after midnight. This photograph is irrefutable proof of this fact. See what the time was on the photo taken when the gun triggered Mrs. Hart's camera. 12:50. 12:25. 15 minutes after midnight on Christmas Day. This is a clear contradiction, Your Honor. Order. What does this mean? The two prior witnesses heard gunshots after midnight. However, this witness says he heard a gunshot before midnight. Judge, the answer is simple. The current witness is plainly mistaken. Just look at him. Suspicious. But what? Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think about Mr. Butt's claim he heard the gunshot before midnight? Larry's right. Larry's not mistaken, Your Honor. He heard that gunshot before midnight. Intriguing. I'm assuming you have evidence for this wild claim? Show me evidence there was a gunshot before midnight. Okay. I bet you... Look at this photograph. This was taken by our witness yesterday, Miss Lotta Hart, with her automatic camera. The timestamp on the photo reads December 24th, 11:50 p.m. Oh yeah? But there's nothing on the lake in this picture. Your Honor, the real issue here is not why nothing is shown in this photograph. It is why this photograph exists at all. What do you mean? Your Honor, this photograph was taken by an automatic camera. That camera was set to go off in response to loud noises. Aha! Correct. There was a loud noise on the lake at 11:50 p.m. That is why this photograph was taken. In other words, when Larry heard that gunshot, it was most definitely Christmas Eve. Indeed, it would seem that this is the case. Then where does that leave us? Miss Hart testified that she heard the gunshots after midnight. Are you claiming she was mistaken? Not at all, Your Honor. It is a fact that the camera also triggered at 15 minutes after midnight. Your Honor, that night there were two sets of gunshots with a 25-minute pause between them. Why would this be? Don't be fooled, Judge. The camera was set to respond to loud noises. Yes? There is no proof that the loud noise at 11:50 was a gunshot. Why the witness could have sneezed, triggering the camera. Hey, my nose was clear that night, man. Clear. Well, Mr. Wright, there's no turning back now. Can you prove that the loud noise at 11:50 was indeed a gunshot? Please show the court the evidence if you have any. Now I get to show the thing that I've been going on about since the very start of this stupid trial. Fired 3 times. Eat it. This is my evidence. The murder weapon? Something about this pistol is bothering me, Your Honor. Yeah, really bothering me. So much that I presented it like 10 times when I wasn't supposed to. Both of the witnesses who testified yesterday heard 2 gunshots. However, the murder weapon was fired 3 times. What? Finally. When then was the last shot fired? Only now have I realized the truth. That third shot was a shot Larry heard just before midnight. Technically it was the first shot, but let's not go into that. Order. That would make sense of the evidence we've seen so far. However, this leaves me wondering exactly what did happen that night on the lake. Exactly. If this is true, there were 2 sets of gunshots separated by 25 minutes. One at 11:50, another at 15 minutes before midnight. After midnight, my bad. Why, I ask you, why? Uh-oh, I'd better think of something quick. Wait a second. Gunshots separated by 25 minutes. Ah! What's wrong, Nick? I have it! I have it! Huh? Remember the case with the Steel Samurai? Huh? Yeah, of course I remember. The murderer in this case had the same idea as the murderer in that case. What do you mean? Maya? Yes? If we don't figure this out now, we'll never overturn Edgeworth's guilty verdict. I've got a hunch and I'm gonna run with it. Right, I mean, is this safe? Safe? We've already gotten a guilty verdict. We have nothing to lose. You just watch and let me know if I say anything that sounds fishy, okay? Right, Nick. Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Wright? The testimony just now has cleared up this entire case. What do you mean, Mr. Wright? So, you finally realized the truth? There can be no other murderer here than Miles Edgeworth himself. Wrong, Von Karma. A man was shot that night, but it wasn't Edgeworth who did the shooting. Listen, rookie. Take a deep breath and consider the facts. At the time of the murder, one boat was on that lake. This was shown by the witness's photograph. The defendant Edgeworth and the victim Robert Hammond were on that boat. There was a gunshot fired on that boat and Robert Hammond fell into the lake. The distance of the shooting was 1 meter. It couldn't have been suicide. Well, the guilty party has to be the other man on that boat. I admit it is hard to imagine any other possibility. Yes, but this assumes that the victim was shot at 15 minutes after midnight. What do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? We have a photographic evidence of the time of the shooting. Timestamp on the photo says 15 minutes. Or 0:15, which is 12:15, but that doesn't matter. Larry heard a gunshot 25 minutes before that. Robert Hammond was killed then, 25 minutes before the shot on the lake. It's the only way that Edgeworth could be innocent. Mr. Wright, are you quite mad? Explain who this is sitting on the boat. It's Edgeworth and the murderer. Of course it was Edgeworth and the murderer. After the murderer killed Robert Hammond at 11:50, he assumed the guise of Mr. Hammond and met Edgeworth. What? Are you serious? Yes, Edgeworth won't tell us why he went to the lake that night. However, I have a hunch. That night, Robert Hammond called Edgeworth to the lake. Now, Edgeworth didn't know Robert Hammond's face that well. That's why he didn't suspect anything when the murderer took Robert Hammond's place. I'm not sure what to make of all this. Ludicrous! Yes, Mr. Wright. Tell us the name of the murderer, then. Murderer's name? Right. It's... I don't know. Actually, I don't know the murderer's name. You don't know? Bah! Again, you waste my time. I don't know because he never told us. The murderer is the caretaker of the boat shop, that old man. At 11:50, he was the one who killed Robert Hammond. The caretaker of the boat shop? Where did he do this? There weren't any boats on the lake then. Why would he have to go all the way out on the lake just to shoot someone? May I suggest that the real scene of this crime was not in a boat? What? Well then, where did this murder take place? Show the judge where the murder really took place. Oh, that's simple. Right here. Here, of course, the boat shop where he lives. That way you can meet with the victim without anyone seeing. Do you have proof that the boat shop was the scene of the crime? Recall Larry's testimony, if you will. That night he was out on the lake in a boat searching for something. He finds it and returns the boat. And just as he's starting to head for home, he hears a gunshot. He heard a gunshot, Your Honor, even though he was wearing headphones at the time. In other words, the gunshot was very, very close by. And where would that be if he had just returned the boat? The boat shop! Mr. Wright, what happened that night on Cord Lake? Please tell the court from the beginning. Yes, Your Honor. Nick, are you sure about this? Not really. But I think if I start at the very beginning, and I take it slow, I might just be able to figure this out. That night, the caretaker of the boat shop called Robert Hammond to his shop. This was around 11:50. That was when the gunshot that Larry heard was fired. After that, the caretaker put on Robert Hammond's coat. He became Robert Hammond. Then he got in the boat with Edgeworth and went out into the middle of the lake. Then who fired the pistol in the boat, Mr. Wright? The caretaker did, of course. Of course it was the murderer who shot the pistol. He shot twice. Both missed Edgeworth on purpose. Wait a minute. Yes? Why would he shoot twice if he didn't mean to hit anyone? Details. Know this, Mr. Wright. The moment you run out of explanation is the moment you lose. Tell us why the murderer had to fire twice. To create a witness, of course. I believe he shot twice to create a witness, Your Honor. Create a witness? The murderer lifts his pistol and fires one shot, then ensures that anyone who heard the shot would look at the lake. Indeed, Miss Hart did exactly that after hearing the first gunshot. Next, the murderer waits a bit and he fires again. Then, the murderer jumps from the boat himself, leaving the pistol in the boat behind him. I see. To someone looking from the edge of the lake, it would appear that one of the men on the boat had shot the other. The murderer didn't know about the automatic camera, of course. That's why he shot twice, to draw attention to the boat. Once he realized that, everything else falls into place. The boat shop caretaker swam back to his shop, then he put Mr. Hammond's wet coat back on the body, and threw the body into the lake. This is what happened, Your Honor. These are the events that transpired that night on the Gourd Lake. Apparently no one believes me. Come on. Bailiff, bring out the witness from before. The boat shop caretaker, quickly. Right, we got someone else to talk to. This is very long. That's okay, it's worth it. Very well, while you're waiting for the caretaker, I would like to ask the defendant, Miles Edgeworth, a few questions. Mr. Edgeworth, please take the stand. Mr. Edgeworth, you heard what the defense has said? Yes. Well, why did you go to the lake that night? What Wright has said was mostly correct. Astonishingly so, actually. Yes, several days ago I received a letter. The letter was signed Robert Hammond. He asked me to come to the boat shop by the lake at midnight on Christmas Eve. He said he had something very important to discuss with me. Something important? I'm sorry, I can't say what it was. Your Honor, sir! Bailiff, we are conducting a trial here. I ask that you remain quiet. The witness has disappeared. He isn't at the boat shop either. What? What should I do? Find him, quickly. We cannot allow him to get away. Mr. Von Karma, your witness has disappeared. A search warrant has already been issued. It goes without saying that I cannot declare a verdict under these circumstances. I will extend the trial until tomorrow, the final day allowed. I request that the police department utilize all its forces to find that witness. Am I understood? One more thing. Just who is that boat shop caretaker? I think his identity has become very important to this trial. I want him, and I want to know who he is. Very well, court is adjourned. Whew! That was interesting. I gotta breathe. Talking way too much. Yay, Nick, you did it! Yeah. Well, at least we got out from under that guilty verdict. And what about Larry? That was something else. Even Von Karma didn't know what to do with his testimony. That's how screwed up it was. Larry really helped us out. Sure, once I sifted through his unique testimony. By unique, I mean special, and by special, I mean retarded. Still, he did save us. I just wish our cases weren't so down to the wire all the time. I know what you mean. Sometimes I feel like it's us on trial instead of our clients. Hey, Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? Did you say something? Don't look so pained. I mean, it looks like you're probably gonna get off of the hook. You could try to smile just a little. Relax. I'm sorry, but I fear it's not over for me yet. What do you mean? Right. There's something that's been troubling me for a long time now, and I don't know whether or not to tell you. Edgeworth? No, there's so little time left. I want to tell you to get it off my chest, but... I can't make up my mind. What is this about, Edgeworth? It's a nightmare I've had. A memory of a crime that I committed. A crime you committed? A memory of a murder. What? Edgeworth, what have you... Oh, great. Oh, man, this just keeps getting weirder. I wonder what could be going on here.
What was Mr. Edgeworth talking about?
Yeah, flashback. A memory of a crime that I committed. We just saw that. Yeah, we just saw that like 5 seconds ago. You really don't need a flashback to it.
You really think Mr. Edgeworth killed?
I don't believe it. Not Edgeworth. Some painful memory has been troubling him recently. But he'd never take someone's life. Never.
Nick.
Yo, how's everyone doing? What do you think of my performance today? I had him swooning in the aisles, huh, Maya?
Is it swooning? Me? Oh yes, I do remember feeling faint.
Right on! Tell me the truth, it was like love at first sight, right? Right, Nick? Are you hitting on a... How old are you? Me? Well, maybe my heart skipped a beat or two. Let's see. 17. 23. You're hitting on a 17-year-old, you freak. I think you can do better than that. Come on, I saved Edgeworth in there, dude. Edgy. You guys should be bowing before me, yeah. Bow before your hero. I'd rather not. Oh well. Let's talk about today's trial. Larry, you really helped out in the trial today.
You did. If you weren't there, Larry, I'm sure Mr. Edgeworth would have been found guilty.
But seriously, Nick. That boat shop caretaker guy is pretty suspicious. But Edgy ain't off the hook yet.
Way to spoil the mood, Larry.
Hey, I'm just a guy sitting in the audience, you know? From where I was sitting, Edgy seems pretty... edgy. I mean, can you really know he's telling the truth about that night?
Nick?
I don't know. But what I do know is... I'm gonna believe in you two until the end. Us two?
Edgeworth and... who else? You mean me, right?
Nah, he means me, right, Nick? Yeah, you, Larry.
Not me?
Not you, Maya. You're useless, remember?
But why you, Larry?
Huh? Actually, yeah. Why me, Nick? Yeah, why him?
Humph, enough with the silent treatment. Nick, why do you trust Mr. Edgeworth so much? I mean, he's changed recently, true. But when we first met him, he was kind of a jerk, don't you think?
You didn't know him back then. Back when he wanted to become a defense attorney.
Wait, was that when you two were classmates?
Yes, in grade school. They saved me, Miles and Larry. They saved me, and I'll never forget it. That's why I became a defense attorney, you know?
What? Hey, Larry, what's he talking about?
Huh? Sorry, I kind of forgot.
Okay, Nick, out with it. I'm gonna hear this story today, and that's final.
Okay. It's kind of a long story, so hang in there. It was the beginning of spring, 4th grade. I was on trial, a class trial.
Class trial?
Let's talk about that. You remember, Larry, spring 4th grade? A kid in my class got his lunch money stolen.
Lunch money?
Our school is really small. Every month kids would bring in an envelope with money for lunch from home.
Huh, I see.
Anyway, this kid's envelope disappeared, with $38 still inside. Your lunch cost 38 bucks? Damn, where did you go to school?
Oh, yeah, now that you mention it, I do remember that.
I can see why you'd forget, though. You were out of school that day. Anyway, the envelope had been stolen during PE class. I was coming down with a cold, so I'd skip PE that day. I was the only one not in class.
So they thought you did it?
Yeah, the kids in class said I should be put on trial.
Trial?
So the next day we held a classroom trial with me as the defendant.
I didn't do it. Guilty, he did it. Guilty, it was you. Thief, give me my money back, man. Give me my money, man. Give it. Just admit you did it. You can't hide the truth. Tell us the truth. We're not going to play with you anymore. Yeah, no borrowing my eraser. You shouldn't be allowed in the relay race or on the library committee. Give me back my 50 cents I loaned you. Hey, did you rob the bank?
How did a little kid rob a bank?
Now, Phoenix, you know you shouldn't steal people's money. It's not right.
In the end, even the teacher thought I'd done it.
Apologize to the class, Phoenix. I didn't know what was happening.
I was so sad, I couldn't stop crying. Everyone was staring at me like I'd done it. I tried to apologize. I went over to where the boy was sitting. That's when it happened. Objection! He shouldn't have to apologize. The only thing here that belongs in a trial is evidence. Anything else has no place. You should all be ashamed, amateurs.
Miles? It wasn't you who stole my money, was it? No. Then you shouldn't apologize. Everyone's been shouting you did it, but no one has any proof. That is why, Your Honor, this boy is innocent. But Miles, it was your money that was stolen. Yeah, he did it. He's the one. We don't need proof. Make him say he's sorry. Why don't you all just shut up? Nice outfit, Larry. This is always how it is. Everyone ganging up on picking on one person. Just think how he feels. He said he didn't do it, so he didn't do it. Very well. I will replace the money myself. This class trial is over. That's how it happened. After that, the three of us were always friends. Wow, I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea either. I mean, I forgot. That's when I learned what it meant to be alone. Totally alone, without a friend in the world. You did a good thing, Larry. Yeah, well, I was just lucky that I took the day off from school. If I'd been there, they would have thought I'd done it. So I took it kind of personally, see? When something smells, it's usually the butts. Let's talk about Edgeworth's goals. Why not? I'm running out of time, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, Edgeworth and I talked after that cross trial. That's when I heard his father was a defense attorney. I remember his eyes would shine when he talked about his father. I'm going to become a defense attorney, just like my dad. A famous defense attorney. Then a few months later, he suddenly transferred to another school. The DL6 incident. Right. I'm not sure, but the transfer probably had to do with his father's death. That's so sad. It was several years later when I heard Edgeworth's name again. There was an article about him in the newspaper. The headline was something like, "Dark Suspicions of a Demon Attorney." Fabricating evidence, manipulating testimonies, covering up facts. The article said he'd do anything to get a guilty verdict. Anything. But why? What happened? I mean, that's not the Edgy I used to know at all. That's what I thought too. I tried to get in touch with him, I don't know how many times. He never replied. I guess he didn't want to see his old friends. I couldn't just drop it though. I wanted to meet him to learn why he had become who he had became. That's when I decided. Wait, you don't mean... That's why? That's why you became a defense attorney? To meet Edgeworth? If I was a defense attorney, I knew he'd have to meet me whether he wanted to or not. In court. Edgeworth believed in me and I believe in him. He's in pain and no one's on his side. I'm the only one who knows the real Edgeworth. I'm the only one who can help him. Whoa, Nick. So is that why you helped me out for free? Yes. I helped you because I believed in you. Except I don't remember saying I'd do it for free. Aw, Nick! We have to save Mr. Edgeworth if it's the last thing we do, okay? Right. It very well may be. First it's that rental boat shop caretaker. Whoa, we need to find out who or what he is. I'd settle for Foo. Foo? Huh. I guess I can clean out some of this evidence I no longer need. Okay, let's go. That wasn't my time. Alright. So we're running out of time. Check out what we got rid of. We got rid of the other lake photo. We still have the metal detector for some reason. We have the DL6 stuff. I'm missing a few other things, but it doesn't matter now. Thanks for watching. See you all next time as we do our final investigation, I think. Yep, final investigation of this case. Thanks for watching and goodbye.